Welcome to MCOM 5350, the capstone course for the Graduate Certificate in STEM Leadership Communication. I'm Dr. Amy Kerber, and I will be your professor this semester. Just a little background about me. I've been in the College of Media and Communication since January 2017. In addition to my job as professor in communication studies, I'm also the Associate Dean for Faculty Success in the college. So if you need to find me, you can always call me. I know some of you don't live in Lubbock. I'm typically in the office from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. If you are in Lubbock, you can also feel free to stop by, or you can make an appointment to stop by and see me. I don't typically give specific office hours because since I am in the office 8 to 5, it's usually easier for me to just work around your schedule. So a little bit of background on me. I have research interests in health and science communication with a particular focus on women's health information and how that's communicated to various different audiences. Prior to joining the College of Media and Communication in January of 2017, I spent 14 years in the English department at Texas Tech, and specifically for about the last 3 years of that time, I was directing the program in technical communication and rhetoric. So now just a little bit of background on this course. As noted in the syllabus, this is intended as the capstone course for a brand new graduate certificate that I'm really excited about here in our college. That's the Graduate Certificate in STEM Leadership Communication, and it is a 12-hour certificate. It is designed for workplace professionals in the STEM fields, and that's broadly defined to include healthcare, technology, sciences, really anything that could fall under that broad category of STEM. And it's designed to teach the communication skills that STEM professionals need to advance professionally in their organizations. Now, the certificate is just kind of getting off the ground. In fact, we're just going to start really widely advertising it in a couple months. So that said, I realize that not all of you are taking this course really as part of the certificate, and we're a really small class, and so I acknowledge that. And really, as a capstone course, as I've stated in the syllabus, this is really intended as more of a writing workshop, a writing and research workshop. So I'm going to work with you. We're going to work as a group on a lot of things, but I'm also going to work really closely with each of you individually to make sure that you can find a capstone project, topic, and focus that is going to meet your needs, regardless of whether you intend to complete the certificate or not. I'm going to give just a little bit on the format of this course. I'm going to provide you probably most weeks with a really brief video lecture, but since this is intended as a writing workshop course, I'm going to keep my lectures to a minimum, and I'm really going to just use my lectures to introduce the very brief highlights from each week's readings. But most of the activity in this class is going to occur in your discussion board postings, which I'm going to use to help you kind of get started, kind of get a jump start on different pieces of that capstone project that is your main focus this semester. And then you're going to spend a lot of time, honestly, doing research and writing and getting feedback on drafts from your classmates and from me. As a capstone course, our main focus this semester is producing a capstone project. In Blackboard, you will find complete assignment guidelines for this semester-long project, along with more specific guidelines for each component of the assignment. This slide provides a brief overview. Basically, your first step is to develop a proposal. That document, which we'll begin working on right away, will serve as a written agreement for the project that you intend to complete this semester. I've given pretty specific guidelines for the proposal to help each of you articulate what you intend to accomplish, but you should know that my underlying philosophy in this course is that each of you should make this project work for you. I have set pretty wide parameters, and as long as you work within these parameters, I'm happy to let you select a project that makes sense for your own academic and professional goals. Chapter 1 in the Bender book begins with a useful definition of the capstone as an undertaking that demonstrates your knowledge and skills while benefiting an organization, community, or industry. The capstone project is not required to be something that is radically new or something that revolutionizes a field or endeavor. It is a scholarly activity that usually results in a small contribution to a much larger field of study or a much larger endeavor. This book is very basic and simple, and we won't follow every detail of the book, but it's a useful guide. And this basic definition is a good one, although some of the text in the next paragraph, which refers to the capstone as the finishing touch in coursework, does not necessarily apply to all of you. As I explained, this course has been designed so it can be useful at any point that a student is able to take it during their coursework. This is just a list of other key concepts that I find useful in Chapter 1. You will get an opportunity to work with these concepts in this week's discussion forum, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining, but this slide hopefully gives you a nice summary. This chapter from O'Leary and Hunt also offers us some useful definitions as a starting place for the capstone project. I think we can follow these definitions pretty closely, except that the word workplace really should be replaced with the word organization for this class. Given that you are not all necessarily working a full-time job in a traditional workplace, we will expand the focus to include any organization that you are involved in. This might mean the university or a unit within the university, or it might mean something else. If you have any questions about how this applies to you, please get in touch with me right away. Chapter 1 in O'Leary and Hunt also offers some great insights into the different ways that decisions are made in organizations and the ways in which research can lead to better decisions. For now, I would ask you to reflect on how these insights apply to the organizational context you will be studying. In particular, what is the role of data in decision making? I find especially interesting the list they provide on page 6 of the many different ways that organizations tend to make decisions. This list suggests that most decisions probably don't rely on data. As we move through this course and the project that you're working on, you will need to consider not only what data you need to collect, but also how you can present that data in a way that ensures it will be taken seriously by the people and groups who will use it to make decisions, and so that we can work towards this larger goal of data-driven decision-making that O'Leary and Hunt talk about. So that's it for this week's lecture. I'm going to stop talking so you all can get to work. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions as you get started on this project. Thanks.